Sup everyone, I hope everyone's having a fantastic week so far and a fantastic week on playing some Football Manager 21. Today we are gonna be looking at the best, well, top 10 Wonder Kids in the attacking position, predominantly on the left side, right side, and an attacking midfield position. The reason why I kind of want to put them all together because it is a lot of say what do you call it, a lot of areas to cover in this video, so I thought I'll do a top 10 video on it. Some of them are an obvious one, so I'm going to try to avoid the obvious one, just like the one in the thumbnail, which is obviously Kylian Mbappe. Look at him at the age of 26, he's an absolute monster. Obviously class still as a Wonder Kid due to his age, but we're not going to cover him. I think everybody knows everything about him. But today's video is about the top 10 attacking midfielders, left-sided midfielders and right-sided midfielders, Wonder Kids in the game 5 years on. So let's jump straight in. First up is one that we relatively know, is Curtis Jones. Now he's got a massive upgrade in this save, as you can see at the age of 24, although he's earned only one England cap in my save. He's 24 years of age, currently now playing for Borussia Dortmund, but there are some standout attributes on there, especially on his physical side of things. His agility is absolutely a monster. Right-sided player, you can say, and he's an elite winger already. Some of his mental attributes such as composure, flair are very impressive, especially his off the ball. Combined with that, with his technique, I think he's going to be a fantastic player in terms of a sort of a playmaker, you can say, on the left side of it. I think that things like passing could be improved, but I think over the course of the game and as he evolves and gets more game time, he's going to get better and better. Bit of an expensive side in the game, but if you've got some money to blow, as you can see, he starts off in Liverpool, one of Liverpool's youth products, but he's been going out on loan a lot, hasn't been getting much chance, you can see, in the Liverpool first team squad. But he's signed for Borussia Dortmund in my save for £38 million in his first season. 27 appearances, 3 goals, 9 assists is not a bad return for Curtis Jones. Next up is actually an absolute monster, one of the best left-sided midfielders, attacking midfielders, you can say, is Nico Serrano, a Spaniard who's still 22 in my save despite it being 5 years on. But you can see he can play on the left, he can play on the right. His physical attributes along with his speed are fantastic. Perfect for somebody who's looking to have a counter-attacking team with him in one of the wings. It'll be a scary thing to do. As you can see, some of his stats like acceleration, agility, balance, pace are all phenomenal. I think dribbling is fantastic, finishing, first touch, technique are all fantastic. I think where he can work on, I guess, is the mental side of things. Yes, some of the stats are reaching around 14, but if you can get some of these stats in the 15 area, I think he's going to be one of the best left-sided attacking midfielders in the game. Still only 22, a Spaniard, he can certainly improve. As you can see, he goes for a lot of money the longer he goes into the save. Arsenal just signed him this season from my save for £98 million. Highly expensive, obviously, as he goes across the game. I'm sure you can get him for much cheaper than that if you get in there early, but you can see some of his stats, especially the last 3 seasons. You can see he's played majority, almost 30 plus games, and 9 goals, 9 assists and 3 man of the matches in his final season at Bilbao before moving to Arsenal for £98 million. This is Nico Serrano. Another player that we are all familiar with, but he's got a massive upgrade, is a right-sided midfielder, right-sided attacking winger, you can say, is Francisco Trinchal. I hope I pronounced his name right, by the way, but he's 25-year-old Portuguese, and you can see he's a pure winger, isn't he? His dribbling is fantastic, first touch is fantastic, technique, vision, composure, so he's a real threat in the box as soon as he enters it. His mental stats are great, his physical stats, I feel, can do a bit of work, especially for a winger. You want more pace, especially if you want to build your team in a counter-attacking style of play. I think several things that stand out for me in the mental side is decision and composure and vision. His work rate could do a bit of work, but he's only 25, he's still got a few years to go before he reaches his peak. He plays for Rennes in my save, and you can see he's been signed for Barcelona at the start of the save, so you cannot get him. But he's been in and around the Barcelona B team for a very long time. In his final season at Barcelona, you can see he's played 40 games, 8 goals, 23 assists in the Barcelona B team, a rating of 7.89, one of the highest rating I've seen in FM21. But then Rennes came in, and for £11.5 million it's an absolute steal, because in their first season, in his first season at Rennes, he made 37 appearances, 11 goals, 4 assists, 3 man of the matches, 7.11 average rating. What a phenomenal player, and one that I think will definitely improve as the time goes on. This is Francisco Trinchal. Another new addition, you can say, to Football Manager 21 is Savio, a right wing player. You can see he's only still 21 in the save, despite it being 5 years ahead in the game. But you can see at the age of 21, a left-footed right winger, some of his stats are monstrous, like technique, dribbling, flair, agility and pace. He's a very pacey, typical winger, you can say. And at the age of 21, other stats such as determination, first touch, passing could do a bit of a work, along with crossing. I think that he'll be a complete package. But acceleration, balance, natural fitness, they're all highly rated attributes, you can say. And certainly a Brazilian is always attacking Brazilian winger is always a good sign, right? In my save, Southampton has signed him. If I go to history, from ATM, not the ATM as you mean the bank machine, but clearly Southampton paid only £14.75 million. You can see in his latest season, he played 45 games, 15 goals, 6 assists, 4 man of the matches. Somebody wants him, I'll check that for you. Hertha do want him, but I think he's going to have a massive future ahead of the game, because at the age of 21, to have these stats and the output he has, he's only going to get better in the game. So watch out for him. Savio is your guy, a cheap Wonderkid, you can say. Before we move on to the next batch of players, make sure you smash the like button, guys. It does really go a long way to help me supporting the channel, and also I love Football Manager. For those of you watch my stream, which is at Twitch, Draco986, definitely check me out. I do a lot of these signings, I do a lot of tutorials and tips at the same time. This is the top 10 best players, best cheap Wonderkids on the left-sided winger position, right-sided winger position and attacking midfield position 5 years into the save. Next up we have Shola Shortire. He is one of the youngsters that Manchester United have signed up, and at the age of 21, look at some of his stats. A lot of standout stats. A pure winger, a left-sided winger, you can say. Dribbling, first touch, passing are all exceptional. He reminds me of an Angel Gomez type of player, isn't it? Natural fitness, agility, his physical are good, his vision is so good, and he's only 21 in the game. At Manchester United, you can see he's come through the youth ranks and he's still yet to break into the first team. I think it's only a matter of time he will break into the first team, because he is a wonderful talent and someone that you can definitely pick up for very cheap. You know, you can class him as a cheap best Wonderkid in the game, one of the best. And you know what, keep an eye on this guy, Shola Shortire. Next up is an absolute powerhouse. I'm sure everybody knows him by now, and he's going to be one of the best players even in real life, in my opinion, going forward. It is the one and only Ansu Fati. He's going to be a monster of a player. Just look at some of his stats. Flair at 20, dribbling 17, technique 16, vision 16. I need to take a breather. Off the ball 16, determination, anticipation 16, even his physical stats, agility 20, natural fitness 16, pace, acceleration. My god, if he runs away from you, yeah right, you're not gonna catch him. Right now, even at the age of 22, he has made 55 caps for Spain, and he is described as an elite winger. Obviously, in my save, Manchester United signed him for £79 million, and he's been a staple mark in my save. You can see he played a lot of games for Manchester United before moving into the current team, you can say, which is PSG, who coughed up a mammoth £105 million for this guy. But what can I say, guys, like absolutely brilliant player. I mean, if you guys have signed him, do let me know how he's doing in your save. I would be very intrigued to actually find out. But Ansu Fati is probably my personal favorite so far in the list. Over in the attacking midfield side of things, we have our first entry, which is Giovanni Reina. Now, he's coming out in the game in real life, you know, slowly progressing from the Borussia Dortmund, but attacking midfielder, he can play in midfield central, left side, right side, anywhere in the attacking position. He is at the age of 22, 12 caps for England, already described as an elite attacking midfielder, and why not? Just look at some of his physical stats. Acceleration, agility and natural fitness are all above 15, corners, dribbling, technique all about 15, off the ball, vision, some of determination. I always love a player with determination, by the way, but he's coming out to be a fantastic player. He's contracted to Man City and he's still 22, guys. He has the potential to become one of the best attacking midfielders in the game. Historically, Borussia Dortmund is the club that he's at. He spent a lot of long time in Borussia Dortmund, few seasons. Obviously, one of the seasons he played 34 games, 13 assists, 13 goals, 7 assists, 2 man of the matches. Man City signed him up for £72 million, and just look at some of his stats. I mean, look at his average rating. Most of the season, right, he's got an average rating of above 7, which is fantastic for a player of his age. Giovanni Reina is definitely going to be more on the expensive side. If you can afford it, I will highly recommend him. Next up on the list, it's Pedro, the young Spaniard who's 22 years in the game, and just look at his stats. There's so many bright greens in his attributes. I mean, what can I say? He can literally play in any position up front. He is a right-footed elite attacking midfielder already, and see, he can get him for very, very cheap. Obviously, Liverpool signed him up for only £14 million before Chelsea signing up him for £43.5 million. My god, that is a cheap Wonderkid, like one of the best cheap Wonderkids in the game, and he will become your heartbeat in terms of his attacking attributes in your team. That is my guarantee. I mean, what can I say? I cannot pick out a single stat that I'm not impressed with. Like, a lot of these stats are very, very impressive. I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, one of the best attacking midfielders in the game. It is the one and only Pedro. Next up, we have an attacking midfielder that is left-footed. One of the rarities in the game is Fabio Vieira of Vigo. You can see sporting, Portuguese, 25 years of age, still yet to earn a cap, but he is one of the, you can say, a cheaper version of a lot of the other players out there who's costing you millions and millions, but you can get him for relatively mid-budget, you can see, but still some of his stats are highly impressive. Dribbling, passing and technique are all above 15, with balance as well at 16, and he's got good determination, very good determination. I like my determined players, you could say. Historically, he's been at FC Porto for a lot of the games, but unfortunately they've lost him to a free transfer, which is a very, very rare thing to do in the game, especially of a player of his caliber, but certainly you can pick him up for very, very cheap. Fabio Vieira of Vigo. Last but not least in this top 10 attacking midfielders, wingers in Football Manager 21, 5 years on, is one that we are sort of familiar with, but he's got a bit of an upgrade in the game. He is Nacho. I think I pronounced his name, but anyway, you can see he's still 22 in the game. He's Dutch, plays for Ajax, and some of his stats such as dribbling and finishing are way off the mark, and technique is one of the best techniques I've seen in the game at 19, almost maxed out at the age of 22. His physical is pretty expensive, I was gonna say, impressive you can say, but his mental attributes is where he actually shines a lot for me. And I reckon he's gonna be one of the types of player that needs a lot of guidance, needs a lot of playtime, needs a lot of personal touch and training for him to be a very, very good player. As you can see, he can get him for fairly cheap. Ajax do kind of develop him a lot in the season. He's still at Ajax, but valued at £6.5 million. It's going to cost you probably upwards of £15 million, but he's certainly one of the cheapest Wonderkids in the game. Do go and check him out, Nachi Univar. A special mention of a player that I absolutely adore, and I'm sure a lot of you guys adore is Joao Felix, the Portuguese Wonderkid, 54 caps, and you can see at the age of 25 he is probably the best attacking midfielder in the game. He has either foot, which is fantastic. He's if you want to unlock any defense in the world, any bank in the world, this is your guy. I mean, just look at some of his phenomenal stats. Obviously in my game he has signed for Man City, and historically you can see Atletico Madrid having signed him for £112 million, some stellar seasons in the game. Man City coughed up £100 million for his services, and you can see some of his stats is unreal. Quite strange that in this season he only appeared 12 times, maybe injuries, but the 2 other seasons he played 20 plus games, and all of his sort of rating, it gets better and better. You can see is well above 7 average rating. I thought I'd throw him in there. I mean, we know him very well in the game. Joao Felix is probably a dream signing for any football manager in the world. Like, anyway, if you got the fund, absolutely gonna go for him. But anyways guys, this is my list for the best, well, top 10 attacking midfielders and wingers in the game. Top 10 wingers and attacking midfielders, Wonderkids, 5 years on in the game. Who has been your standout players? Do let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next upload, and stay safe out there.